Okay, now we're going to look at a square with a diagonal of 6. We don't have a picture, so we're going to draw a picture. Do not feel bad if you can't draw a square as good as me. I don't know what you're talking about. And you got a diagonal.
In the same spot I'm doing it.
You got a diagonal with the length of 6. All right, so now, we don't know the length, we don't know the width. We got to fall back to our tools that we've used, okay? And because this is a square, 90 degrees all the way around, this angle here is 45 and 45. So now we can use a 45, 45, 90 triangle to solve this. So label, opposite of the 45 degree angles is x. Opposite of the 45 is x. Opposite of the 90, x square root of 2. So after you label, you solve for x. So here, x square root of 2 is equal to 6. Okay, we're going to get into those that rule on this one. In this class, it was the Kerbal rule, but I changed it for every class, so whoever's listening to this is going to be a different rule. But in this class, it was the Kerbal rule. Okay, we divide by the square root of 2. And our issue is that we have a square root on the bottom of our fraction. Okay, we can't have that. Since I crammed this on the right side here, I'm going to have to start over. X equals 6 square root of 2. Now, the Kerbal rule here was that we take whatever this number is, the square root of 2. I multiply the top by it, and we multiply the bottom by it. Really, we're multiplying that whole problem by 1. Any number divided by itself is 1. Across the top, 6 square root of 2. And what happens with the square root of 2 times square root of 2? It's the square root of 4, which gets to 2. The last thing is I need to look at this and ask, can I simplify this part right here? And the answer is yes. 6 divided by 2 is 3 square root of 2. So I have 3 square root of 2 is my x. So my length and width are 3 square root of 2. Now, once you have your length and your width, things get a little easier, okay? Since we're talking about a square, we use the formula area equals side squared. So this is going to be 3 square root of 2 squared, okay? When you're dealing with this exponent right here, if you put this in your calculator, you need to make sure that you put parentheses around the 3 square root of 2, close it, and square it just like I have it here. Because the operation is that this square has to be distributed to both of those terms. So on your calculator, you have to make sure that you put the parentheses around 3 square root of 2. Because you want to do that, which is 9 times 2. Square root of 2 squared is going to be 2. 9 times 2 is 18. Once again, you could just type this into your calculator and it's going to give you the answer. But you got to make sure you put parentheses around it, or it's going to tell you that the answer is 6, which is way off. Okay, so 18 is our answer for the area. Now the perimeter, 4 times the side length. So 4 times 3 square root of 2. Now we're just multiplying. 4 times 3 is 12. And we're not going to multiply the square root of 2 out because it gives us that decimal. So 12 square root of 2. Okay, on this next one, the length of a rectangle is 4 more than twice the width. The perimeter is 62. So we have a rectangle, no drawing here, so we'll sketch one out. Okay, the words here are really important. This is saying that the length of a rectangle is always our equal sign. 4 more than, that's telling us to add twice the width, so that'd be 2w. But we got to remember that the more than is a switch that happens. So this actually is going to be written out as length equals 2w plus 4. And that switch is very, very important whenever we're working these word problems. The last one here is that the perimeter is 62. Okay. as we look, and I did jump down here and put a drawing here because we didn't have it, but whenever we look at this, we don't really need the drawing. We can go back and look and use our formula that we have. Perimeter equals 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. We can use this since we know what the length is. So the perimeter equals 2. Now instead of L, we can put in 2W plus 4. Close parentheses plus 2W. So I don't actually need the box, need the rectangle right now. Now solve this out, just doing algebra steps. What do you have to do with the 2 here? Distribute that to both terms. 4W plus 8 plus 2W. What do you notice through here that we need to do? Here's a hint. Combine the W's, combine like terms. Perimeter equals 6W plus 8. Okay. Now, what was the last thing from over here? Perimeter was 62. So instead of the P here, I can put in 62 equals 6W plus 8. Plug in the values of everything that we know. Okay. Now, solve for W. What do I need to do first? Subtract 8 from both sides. 62 minus 8. 54 equals 6W. Divide by 6. 9 equals W. So the width is 9. Okay, now, what can I use to find the length if I already know the width is 9? I could use this original formula up here, that the length was 2 times the width plus 4. 2 times 9 is 18 plus 4 is 22. So the length is 22. How do I find the area of a rectangle? Base times height, or length times width. So that would be 22 times 9. Say it one more time, please. 198. It is area, so that would be units squared to make all the science teachers out there happy. On example 7, we got a rectangle that has a length of 6, but we're missing the width. Because of the information that's given to us here and that this makes a 90-degree right triangle, we can use Pythagorean theorem to solve here. C squared equals A squared plus B squared. What would the C be? The C would be 10, and then the A could be the 6, and then we are trying to find B squared. And we can finish that out. Okay, also, we can look at this and that triple, the Pythagorean triple, 3, 4, 5 plays a role here. We can take a shortcut and use the Pythagorean, the perfect Pythagorean triple, 3, 4, 5. What's 3 times 2? And 5 times 2 is 10. So 4 times 2, so this would be 8. So you don't actually have to do the Pythagorean theorem. You can use the shortcuts to cut down on the work that you have to do. If you were going to do Pythagorean theorem, you would have 100 equals 36 plus b squared. Subtract 36 from both sides and get 64 equals b squared. Then take the square root. I know I kind of went through that fast, but I'm hoping you guys remember the 3, 4, 5 Pythagorean triple. So now if we know that it's 6 by 8, area is going to be length times width. So length is 6 times 8, and 6 times 8 is 48. And then the perimeter, 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. 12 plus 16 is 28. 28 units. Okay, on number 8, what's the shape? Square. The diagonal is 4 square root of 2. So what tool will you use? 45, 45, 90. Opposite of the 45 degree angles, x, x. Opposite of 90 is x square root of 2. Solve for x. X square root of 2 equals 4 square root of 2. Hopefully you can look at that and recognize what x needs to be right away. But mathematically, you could divide by the square root of 2, and any number divided by itself is 1. Divide both sides by the square root of 2, and the negative 2, or the square root of 2's are canceled, leaving x equals 4. So the length is 4, the width is 4. Finding the area, side squared, so 4 squared, 16. And then perimeter is 4 times the side, which is 4 times 4, which also is 16, but this would be 16 units and not squared. Okay, on this last one, we can tell right here it's 4, 5, 6, 6, 6, 5, 4, but we're missing this edge right here. And what we're going to do to find that edge is add up those 3 edges on the right side. 5 plus 5 is 10, plus 6 is 16. So now add up all of the sides for the perimeter. So 16 and 4 is 20, 25, 31. I'm going to jump across over here and go 35, 40, 46, 52.
Can you like redo that? I don't know what you did.
So what I did was, what I try to do is I try to add, okay, like 16 plus 4 is 20, plus 5 is 25, okay, then you can go plus 6, and that puts you at 31, so I then looked over here because I wanted to make it 35, then added this 5 to 40, and then added these 2 to make it 52.
Yeah, but why are you using it again?
Why am I using what again?
The 4s, if you're doing the first 16.
I used the 4 for the 16 here. There's another 4 up here. Okay, to find the area for this, is this a shape that we have a formula to find the area for? No. No, but by drawing a dotted line right here, I can break this into a square that's 6 by 6 and a rectangle that's 16 by 4. Okay, so to find the area of the rectangle, 16 times 4 is what? 64. The area of the square, 6 times 6 is 36. So what can I do with the 64 and the 36? Add them together. 64 plus 36 equals 100. And that would be area, so that's 100 units squared. Thank you for your patience. Make sure that you do some work. Bring questions back to me. We're grading this assignment next time. Like and subscribe right down here at the bottom.